Alrighty then. Well, thank you for joining us. Really appreciate it.
Amen. Thank you for being here.
Yeah, I'm not into this whatsoever. But for you, brother, I've just had so many people ask to do a podcast, and there's a couple of guys been asking for the last 10 years in New Zealand, and I still haven't done his one. But lovely to be here,
God,
mate. You're a good man. You're a good man. And we've shared a number of conventions together with the family.
True
and
enough.
they've entertained us and been very supportive of my family and my son here. So wonderful, wonderful, Jim. Plus,
So great to be here.
I really look up to you guys that do the voice work too, and a lot of the talent that you guys have is far supersedes the talent that I have, and sometimes I feel like a bit of an imposter around you guys. No, just the way you can manipulate your voices and create these characters. I'm kind of a little bit one-dimensional compared to you guys, but I'm just a simple man making my way in the universe.
Yes, of course he is, ladies and gentlemen.
And
Anybody believe that out there, by the way? I'm just curious. No, I didn't think so. Well, Godfrey, I hope I could make my way half as well as you've made yours and are continuing. And so I'm just glad you're here. And I thank you so very much.
no problem, no problem.
And on behalf of myself and about, I don't know, a few other million people out there, thanks for being here. My goodness, honestly, you have such an incredible career. I took notes, and I have to get a cheat sheet just to get through it. I'm a little cog in the Star Wars universe with my character Hondo Ohnaka, and you are a wheel, a whole entire. It's unbelievable. You're a juggernaut.
Well, I went back to the year 2000, I think, when I got asked to play Jango Fett. Mm-hmm. And even back then, I wasn't no Star Wars kind of, one of those people that knew too much about it. In fact, I remember quite clearly getting the letter or the fax, I think, back in those days. Gee, that goes
sure,
back.
sure.
Remember
I remember
faxes?
those. Yeah, I used to have one.
You got a meeting with Robin Gerlin from Star Wars and Lucas Ranch. So, and funnily enough, I was in LA at the time, and I was staying in the same hotel, so I literally had to go one floor up to meet Robin Gerlin.
Wow. Well,
And basically, it was just a chat with a video.
That was fate.
And that's how it started. And then a few months later, they phoned me and said, "We'd love you to play Jango Fett." Of course, I was very excited. But in the same breath, and as I was cheering, I remember going, who the hell's Jango Fett?
Yeah.
And then I think also because they were filming in Sydney, Australia, so subsequently they used a number of
And your neck of the woods.
actors from New Zealand and Australia. So because they were filming in the Fox studio right there in Sydney, we happened to be in the same neighbourhood. So, and I think George knew kind of a little bit about New Zealand too, because he had already filmed a movie called Willow there. So so we went back.
Yeah,
really,
that's right. That's right.
So I was just buzzing. I was working in Sydney at the time doing a police show, kind of playing a detective, and there was a little bit of a crossover, so I almost missed out. But thankfully, the schedules worked out, and I was able to finish the project I was doing and start work on Attack of the Clones. Of course, there's only been a sheep called Dolly and myself that have been cloned, so I take it as much quite a privilege.
Wow. That's
And
not
the sheep
bad.
was in New Zealand, funnily enough. So
Yeah,
a
that's
sheep
right.
from
I
New
remember
Zealand
that.
and a Maori from New Zealand being cloned. Well, I came from...
You're an interesting company.
Yeah, interesting. But that's how it all started for the Star Wars thing. Plus, I've been I came from the Morrison family is quite well known in our small town, place called Rotorua in New Zealand, in the centre of the North Island there. My family was... I was blessed. I had a very talented uncle who was a singer. So we were groomed as young kids, really, to stand and say a few words, make speeches, sing songs. But we always sang as a family. And also blessed that my mum was from a rural area, a dairy farm. And so I had a grandfather on the farm where I always used to love going as a kid. He was a horseman, milk his cows, 130 cows every day, twice a day, actually.
Wow.
And, just being
That's a lot of cream.
Yeah, it was 2 cream cans, actually, we had to take to the road by 8 o'clock in the morning. So
Wow.
Just wonderful memories growing up on the farm.
Yeah,
And
that
then
sounds like
the
it.
Morrison side was more involved with the cultural entertainment. My uncle was actually knighted for his services for the entertainment. He was like
My goodness.
he was like the Frank Sinatra of New Zealand. His name
No
was
kidding.
Howard Morrison. So growing up, my dad was also a singer and also a civil engineer. So he'd be working on Ministry of Works, designing the roads during the day, and then at night he'd always be out.
Then he'd drive on them to the nightclub and sing.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then singing these bars back then. They were crooners, though.
Yeah.
They loved Dean Martin. Well, I'm praying for rain in California,
Yeah.
where the grapes can grow and they can make more wine. While I'm sitting in a honky in Chicago. Yes, I was brought up listening to those records.
So that was first, not bad for his very first time.
Engelbert Humperdinck.
Oh, sure.
Solomon King, all those
Oh, yeah.
records I used to play as a kid, just over and over again, listening to these guys. So I became quite good at kind of imitating them
Yeah.
in a way. And
Yeah, I kind of.
and then on the other side, we used to do our Maori dancing as well, our
Oh, yes.
cultural dances. And so we were groomed as young. A lot of us cousins would get together and perform. My aunties and uncles all performed in the cultural side of things. So I was blessed, and I think that's where the seed for the performance came from. And yet on my mother's side, they're from the farm, and so they hardly spoke.
Oh.
You'd sit around the farm.
Oh, right. Very
all
stoic.
day. Yeah, we'd finish the milking the cows, taking the cows back up the hill, pulling ragwood, feeding out, and you get back to the homestead up on top of the hill. And no one spoke much. They just sort of sit around, have a cup of tea. Yep. Yep, cloudy dowdy, yep. And then an hour would go by. And then a car would go by. I'd get up, look at the car. Johnson's, yep, Johnson's. Another hour or two would go by, another car would go past, yep, Vincent's, yep.
Narrating the action.
Yeah, Vincent.
Oh,
I was very blessed in a way. And
Yeah.
I loved going back to the farm as a kid, just riding the horses. Just wonderful memories.
Yeah.
Galloping on the horse, full tank. My
You
granddad.
still have property there, yeah?
We still got the farm there, yes.
Yeah.
My uncle's still there running the farm. My mum's on my mum's side, but yeah. But I used to love riding the horse. My granddad's riding his horse. He'd always used to say he had a lean back style too. It wasn't like a Ford cowboy Western style. He'd sort of lean back a little bit in the thing. He always go lean back, hands down. We'd have a slight lean back.
Oh,
Yeah,
man.
so we used to love it. And even haymaking and all the family would get together, be like,
Oh, yeah?
be
to
close
make
to
the
80 to 100 of us once all the family would get together. I don't know where we all slept, but, and the other, we were still making haystacks.
Yeah. Well, you can sleep
Yeah,
there.
this before the balers.
Oh,
And then the balers
You
came
were
out.
the baler.
Well, the European farmers across the road had a little bit more money, so they brought in the baling equipment, but we were the labor. So, and I saw there, the community at work, the work ethic took over everything. It was all about the work, really, and how they shared around the community. We'd go down and bale that farmer's hay, and they'd go bale the next farmer's hay, and then we'd go over to the other side, bale Muller's hay. Then they'd come up to our farm, when they'd prepared, and do our hay as well. So, yeah. And then on the other side, back in Rotorua is a very famous tourist place too. So, and that allowed us as a family to be entertain the tourists and things like that. So, yeah, wonderful. And then I guess that's what led to my... Actually, it was kind of a case, I've kind of done enough singing now. There's enough in the family that sang, and I I decided I'll get into this acting.
Find another niche.
Find another niche, exactly. And so this acting thing came along, and I joined a course, really, and we were being used as... there's 20 of us young people on this course, so we were being used as extras a lot for different TV programs, and so the call would go out.
I can't see you in the background.
I
the
started
foreground,
there.
yes. The
Yeah, I started
background,
there.
no.
Yeah, well, I figured that out pretty quick. I said,
Yeah, I would imagine.
No one's going to see me back here.
Yeah.
And I remember just crossing the road. Well, that'll do. Yeah, I was very excited about that. Then I got another job as a street kid kind of thing. I ended up getting hired quite a bit because no one else had their driver's license. and I was the only kid who had a
You
license.
could get to set.
Yes, yeah. So I could drive the car, and then the scene in the first kind of film I did. So
Oh man.
yeah, humble beginnings.
Yeah.
Had
What
a
was the
family
first
of 8.
film? What was the first film? If you can.
Oh, I think it was a movie called Other Halves, a New Zealand production. Yeah, yeah, and then a number of TV shows. But yeah, humble beginnings. We had a family of 8. I had 6 sisters, 1 brother, and we're only in a 2-bedroom kind of house. So grew up,
Cozy.
three in that side of the bed and 2 down this end of the bed. So we
Yeah.
got used to each other's smelly feet and
Yes, yes.
and
I had something sort of like that.
and then the sausages, was pretty. By Friday, they turned into curried sausages, and but it was the same sausage. But yeah, so
it was well aged.
so it was good. It was good training, really good training. And we came, as I said, I came from a performance family, so it was inevitable that I got into the scene somewhere along the line.
Wow.
And then all the things started.
Yeah.
Once I decided to make, doing school and all that, and then giving it a go.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, it seems to be working out.
Huh?
It seems to be working out for you.
Yeah, well, it's you got to be patient.
not bad, yeah.
You got to be patient in this business too.
That's true, isn't it?
It's only really now that that I'm finding the phones ringing. I did a movie called Once Were Warriors.
Yes. Yes, you
and
did.
that was a pretty hard, raw film out of New Zealand way back in the 90s. And that's the one that really got me into Hollywood.
Yeah. Oh, that's the one?
Yeah, that was the film because it
rightly
really got.
so.
Went to Sundance Film Festival, and I remember when the lights came on in Sundance, I felt a presence next to me.
Oh, boy.
Because I'm sitting on the seat, and there's someone sat on the stairs, and then the lights came up, and it was Mr. Robert Redford, the man himself. Even I was blown away. Gee,
Wow.
there's the Sundance kid.
So there
right
was Sundance.
Yeah, there's the right. He was
Well,
right
what
there.
better place to
Yeah.
to meet him?
Yeah,
My
right there.
gosh.
And he was blown away. Everyone that saw that movie and that's the one that opened the doors. Subsequently got me an agent there. Actually, he's not here anymore, but I've lost both my agents. His name was Joe Rice. He worked for Abrams in LA.
Oh, yes, yes.
And the New Zealand agent was a guy called Robert the Bruce. He called himself Robert the Bruce.
He called himself that? Okay,
yeah, he used to be
good.
a wrestler.
Well, you
It was
forget to
actually
give yourself
Robert
a
the Bruce
nickname.
Ugly Agency. So,
Oh.
because all his clients were all ugly guys who'd been
Oh,
wrestling, so
God.
their faces were all munted up.
What are we going to do with this guy?
They weren't the prettiest lot, I tell you. So, yeah. And then what happened? I think I got asked to do something happened. There was like my first Hollywood movie was one called Barbed Wire with Pamela Anderson.
Yes.
And I was trying to keep it quiet from my Hollywood agent, but I just wanted to go to Hollywood.
Yeah.
I said, I just got to go to Hollywood, even if I just do one film. And that was the first film, Barbed Wire. So I took it, and then I remember my agent in LA heard about it. What
the hell were you thinking?
What the hell are you thinking?
Oh, my gosh.
You got to wait for a bigger thing. And I said, I'm not going to hang around.
Not
and wait
everybody
for the
can
next
say
one.
that.
I'm going to do.
The first film was with Pamela Anderson. Not
Yeah,
many
yeah.
can make that statement.
Yeah, and it was she was very popular at the time too.
Oh, she was very,
Baywatch
very
huge.
popular at the time.
And we were making this kind of remake of Casablanca that I thought. I pretended I was Humphrey Bogart and she was Ingrid
Oh,
Bergman.
okay.
So that's how I got through that film, pretending I was Humphrey Bogart and she was Ingrid Bergman. We had similar kind of feel
yes.
to that
You know,
Casablanca movie.
Well,
Of
when I
old,
think of
but
her and Ingrid, I think I get them
Yeah.
confused.
a high action film, just
Yeah,
wonderful
no doubt.
experience. Every day I just couldn't believe it. Man, this is fun. But I remember being quite naive. It's quite a funny story because I had never fired a gun or a machine gun in my life.
No.
And I got on set one day and I was supposed to come around the corner. We were in a bit of trouble and all the bad guys were over there. And the guy said, which gun would you like to use, Tim? I said, would you like the Uzi or the AK something? And I said, for some reason I'd read all these comics as a kid, those Commando comics. And
Yeah.
so they had Uzis in them.
That's
so
right.
immediately I chose
Plus
the
they
Uzi.
look cool.
Yeah, they look cool. They just got a very light.
Yeah.
I got a fright at first on the couple of first takes. I sort of go,
Oh, yeah. Did it have a kick?
And then, yeah, it had a lot of kick.
Wow.
And then I remember doing it a couple of times, and then I heard, cut. Tim, the director would like to see you by the monitor.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, boy.
So I run over, and he goes, you're just doing something weird with your lips. I go, well, replay it for Tim. Give him a look. And I suddenly realized I was going like this. I was making the sound effects.
Oh, my God. That's
Yeah.
funny.
So that's how naive I was. So I remember the director going, "Look, Tim, don't worry about the sound effects."
And you accidentally shot Pamela Anderson.
Yeah,
so
no,
that-
lucky I didn't, but she saved me actually. Yeah,
Oh,
but she was
man.
wonderful to work with. Wonderful. then
that's
from there, I
great.
sort of did movies like Speed 2 with
Oh, yeah,
Sandra
yeah.
Bullock, and
Right. Wow, I
I
did
guess
the, I did
and
the
then,
release for that.
6 Days, 7 Nights with Harrison, and I'd always watch. I'd always
Yeah,
watch them
of
work.
course.
And I even remember watching Harrison Ford. He was working with Ivan Reitman. It was a 6 Days, 7 Nights, and Ivan was directing. And sort of Harrison would sort of go down and come up, give a little look. And I sort of asked, might as well ask him, some of his techniques.
Yeah.
I go, what are we doing here, Harrison? What are you doing? Oh, well, I'm doing a few versions. I call them versions, Oh, okay, versions. Yeah, it's good to give the editor a number of options.
Yeah, yeah.
Not just the one monotone kind of look. Give them a.
Oh,
bit of
that's
thing.
good. Yeah.
Then he also kept his energy right here. If you watch Harrison Ford working,
Yeah.
you'll see a lot of energy because he points to this part here. He sort of go, where's the camera there? Oh, there's another
man.
good technique, just to keep the energy right there. So,
Wow.
so that's a great.
Thank God we're
piece of
recording
advice.
this because I'd be writing it down otherwise.
Yeah, feel free to use whatever you hear today. And then, that was great fun. A lot of fun. A lot of fun, of course.
my
Shooting
gosh.
guns again, chasing Harrison, and Anne Heche was the woman.
Yes,
But I must
that's
mention
right.
also, I ended up doing a movie called The Island of Dr. Moreau. And guess who was in there? Besides Val Kilmer.
Yes, there was
man-
another fledgling actor, if
Yes.
I recall.
Marlon Brando.
My goodness. Yes.
So you can imagine, like being a young, budding opera singer, getting to sing with Pavarotti or Carrera.
Oh, sure.
So here I was, a young actor out of New Zealand.
My gosh.
There's Brando. He eventually turned up.
There was Brando. Well, not right away. But we had
Oh, he was just
let's
like-
see, what time is it?
And everybody, 2 weeks later,
Yeah.
but he turned up ready to go. One day, his PA came and saw me. We were dressed up as makeup.
Sure.
So
Nobody knew.
Marlon wouldn't really take you that seriously because you got
Yes.
dog makeup on.
Right.
There's Ron Perlman
Yes.
and was the goat man. And
Yes.
I remember Ron Perlman trying to have a serious discussion with
Oh,
Marlon.
God.
And it was a bit hard when he looks like a goat.
Yes.
And, he wanted
I
to
remember
ask
that.
Marlon Brando
I
so
forgot to
many
mention
questions.
that the other day, yeah.
And like all the actors would be in my hotel room every night waiting for the Brando stories of the day. And I was close. I was there.
Yeah.
I was the dog man. So I made
Yes.
it a point to
The dog
just stick close to Marlon. Even if I wasn't in the scene, I just stick there. I think I made myself his right-hand dog.
That's
I
right.
said, I'm just going to
Well,
sniff around this
a boy
guy.
and
I'm
his
just gonna
dog,
Stay
another-
around there. And then he was generous. What I was saying
Really?
was his PA come to set one morning. He said, Marlon watched your movie. Once We're Warriors. And I go, did he?
Whoa.
Did he? Yes, he loved it. He sat down and watched the whole program. And then in he walks. Come to my bus, come to my bus. So I was one of the probably the only actor that got invited to sit on his bus with him and have a little talk. Yeah, so I just it was a wonderful time, and
He was the dog father then? Or, hey, I'll tell you, good night, everybody.
yeah, it was like that. But for me, every time he was on set, I could just see the Godfather.
Oh,
There he
yeah,
was.
sure.
Yeah, he was very generous. He'd sort of
Yeah?
ad lib a lot.
Really?
Ad lib a lot, and he'd go. And I was always on my toes. I sort of didn't know. Every time he spoke to me, I'd sort of jump in there.
Sure.
Yes,
Well, I heard he
that is the
ad-libbed a
law.
lot because he had trouble remembering lines.
Well,
Which-
he'd sort of look at the script and go, he'd sort of.
Oh, could throw it away.
Let me just make something up here.
Yeah,
John Frankenheimer was the director.
yeah,
William
yeah.
Fraker, the DOP, very old school.
Wow.
They're all in their 70s too, these people.
Yeah.
So I was just privileged not only to be in Marlon's presence
Brando,
and
yeah.
just being able to watch him work. And no difference. They roll camera. Rolling! Because Frankenheimer had this big, larger-than-life personality too. And Marlon would be just so calm, like there's no... Just drink his water and adjust his thing. He'd always ask the cameraman where the shot was so he could play, use his hands. Use his hands in this, so I noticed that. Mm-hmm. And then he even gave me a bit of advice because I kept jumping in every time. Never anticipate, my boy. Never anticipate. Okay, sorry, Marlon. Sorry, I must remember that. Write that one down too.
Yes,
Never
yes.
anticipate. But yeah, he was great. Very, very kind to me. And
Wow.
And I even overheard him telling the director, look, you don't need that guy. It was Val Kilmer. You don't need him in your movie. Put this guy in your movie more. Put him in more.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, so it was kind of funny.
Oh, man.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. But yeah, just watching him was just, it's just like,
Oh,
yeah.
was
And plus, the funny thing was, when I was getting ready for Warriors, Once We're Warriors, my big debut in terms of an art house kind of film, I studied A Streetcar Named Desire and watched the movie over and over again. And my character was a bit of a fighter too, so I watched Muhammad Ali videos a lot just to get into the fighting mode.
that will do it.
And I watched Streetcar Named Desire over and over again because Marlon had those cut-off kind of T-shirts. He had that kind of very, just
Streetwise.
sultry kind of look,
Yeah.
streetwise. And when Once We Warriors came out, I remember seeing one of the articles in the Chicago Times, and they commented about my character. This guy is like a Maori Stanley Kowalski.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
That works.
Yeah, so
Ooh.
So I was buzzing.
That's
I was
not
just buzzing.
bad.
I said, "Oh, gee, this reporter got it." And
Yeah,
even the
yeah.
style of our movie was, we used that movie as a kind of a model.
I'm going to write that down and get a T-shirt for
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
I was the Maoris.
Yeah, and then as you know, the business quietens down, or some people get
Ebbs and
amnesia.
flows.
They've got this thing called amnesia in Hollywood. They just
Yeah.
forget all about you.
Yeah,
and
it's
you
more
sort
about
of-
like, what have you done for me lately? Right?
It's
Yeah.
up and down. So there was that period, and you sort of
Yeah.
up and down. I struggled with the accent too, the American accent. I remember I used to go to a restaurant in Los Angeles quite frequently called Panavino, right on Beverly and Sweetser there. And I become friends with the owners. And there was a guy there every day for lunch, Harvey. He's going, you got to learn an American accent, Tim. You got to get that accent down. And it still rings in my ear today, actually. But and funnily enough, I play these characters from outer space or somewhere from another galaxy.
Yeah, you were
So,
safe.
He's
You could
talking
hide
like
it
a
behind
Kiwi
that.
all the time. So
Yeah.
if anything, I really need to master that American accent. But I'm kind of getting a little, I don't know, sort of.
You sound like
I'm-
Youngstown, Ohio to me.
Yeah, I'm just trying to, I mean, you make your way in the universe and then you try and figure out, what am I going to do when I grow up? And I felt like this acting,
You too, huh?
this acting stuff has been like a journey, but having so
Yeah.
much fun, very childlike.
Yeah.
And I'm always thinking, gee, one day I'm going to get a real job.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, when I was coming up, I actually, I've said this before, I actually knew what I wanted to do when I was 5 years old because Mel Blanc was on a show, the Jack Benny Show. And I remember sitting there watching with my dad. And my dad goes, you see this bastard right here? Everybody was a bastard to my dad. It was Mel Blanc. He did Bugs Bunny and all the classic Warner Brothers characters. He goes, he just does all those cartoon character voices. You get up on Saturday morning, watch him. That's this guy right here. And he was sitting there doing a bit with Jack Benny where he was playing a Mexican fella. And he's, my name is Cy, C-O. And that was it. He sounded like Taz. And I remember thinking, well, he doesn't have to stand in the corner for being weird. I'll do that when I grow up.
Yes.
And so I did, and it worked out. So now I get to hang out with you. So so it really worked out. That's amazing. I'm glad we both had that same bug.
That's right.
And I think it is a bug too, because you never feel like you're. Because I've had a million jobs when I was coming up, waiting for something to click, and knock on wood, I've made a demo tape myself. That's how I did it. Snuck in the back door.
Yeah.
I didn't know it was impossible to break into. I'm sure, like yourself, you were coming up there. You were out on the farm. You probably didn't know you'd end up in outer space. And
No, I didn't know that.
I mean, how?
But all those life skills come in handy. Riding a horse. One day you get to a set and, can you ride a horse? Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, yes, I can do that.
Yeah,
you can ride
sure
a motorbike. Yep. Yes, I can, get all those things coming in handy.
How about
And
a hay baler? Yes.
Yep, I can bail hay if that's required. So, yeah. They're all life skills in the end of the day. And,
Yeah.
so I've just been blessed, really. I'm very grateful. And I'm just kind of ready to hand the baton over to my son or somebody now. I kind of got,
Yeah.
we know the process so well. Got to go to makeup, got to go to wardrobe, got to learn all these lines.
Yeah, that's the tough part.
And, and there were moments in the career where you're sort of ringing up buddies. back in the, now we can audition on the phone now, but back in the day,
very true, yeah.
you had to find someone with a decent camera,
Yeah, that's true.
put down an audition, edit it a little bit, send it off.
Yeah.
These days on the phone, you can sort of do that a little bit more instant, but
Yeah, very true.
but you get tired. You get tiring. Oh, here we go again. Oh, here we go again.
Yeah.
He's great, but what about the accent?
Yeah,
He's
right,
great, but
right,
what about the
right,
accent?
right.
But,
So you're
hey,
handing this off to your son, who just so happens to be here.
Yeah, he's here. Yeah, he's going to give it a go. We got a little film to do in Australia very shortly next month. So
Are we allowed to talk about it, or shall we sit on that?
Yeah, no, it's a wonderful film called Bluff, and wonderful director called Frank Flowers. He's getting quite a bit of kudos now. He's just written the Bob Marley film, so we're going to get out there, and we're cheating the Gold Coast of Australia for the Caribbean, that kind of area. So,
Sure.
So yeah, we want to make
That sounds about right.
we want to make a gritty kind of pirate film.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, and there's
It's going to be a pirate film?
yeah, and then also
I love it.
I've been blessed.
I'm there.
I've been blessed also that Jason Momoa has been a big supporter of mine. He also saw Once We're Warriors, again, that film.
Yeah.
And really impinged on him. So, he put me in Aquaman and things like that, play his dad.
Yes.
Moana, I play a lot of dads now. Moana's father,
That's right.
Aquaman's father,
You're
Boba Fett's father, and now Boba Fett. So
Yeah, that's right. Wow.
yeah.
You're
So
very,
I count
very
my blessings.
paternal.
I count my blessings. Just very grateful.
It's
I
so
think,
true. So true.
and even now, sort of just the phone's still ringing, so it's all good. And I think with Star Wars too, it's one of those films that,
Yeah, it's,
well, probably the only film where you sort of. That's why I'm here.
yeah,
That's why I'm doing the convention circuit.
sure.
Because of the Jango Fett experience, and just really so excited when I got the call to play Boba Fett and to get back to work with Jon Favreau, Dave Filoni. It was just such. It was a wonderful experience too. I got to work with Ming Na on the Book of Boba, and with Jon Favreau and Dave and them, and that just. Some days on the Book of Boba Fett we get called to the tent. No, not the tent. But anyway, called to the tent. But there's
it sounded
all the
like
monitors.
the principal's office.
Yeah. They'd want us to watch a scene from Lawrence of Arabia.
Oh, wow.
And I remember watching these movies. My dad would always wake us up if there was a great movie on, funnily enough. We were allowed to get up late and watch a movie with him. So I remember watching Omar Sharif stood out for me because he had the same color as me, so we kind of related to
dashing
characters,
chap.
to those people like that.
Yeah.
And Anthony Quinn.
Oh,
And,
with that ski jump they had on his face.
Yeah.
That nose, right?
But I used
Remember
to love
that?
those kind of movies. And so there I am, in Boba Fett, after watching this, and he sort of wants to get us in the right mode and the right mood. And so this is what we're kind of after, the whole train sequence in the Book of Boba and things like that. Then another day we'd be doing a scene inside. And so we'd watch The Godfather. He'd have a scene of The Godfather. Oh, I know that guy well. I met that guy, I'm telling everyone. I worked with that guy.
Yeah. That's my old buddy.
But now I'm sitting there as Boba Fett,
Yeah.
doing the kind of Brando thing, the head of the table. There's a bit of, the other syndicates having a few problems with me, so I want to sort some stuff out. So I was right there.
Yeah, you were.
Right there. And then,
I can see it. You were right.
Yeah.
I can see
What would
it.
Marlon do? I think he'd play with his hands, so every now and then.
Yes,
Every now and then I'm sort of going like this, just
That's
because
true.
I met
Oh, my
Marlon,
God,
and
that's
he'd
so
go
true.
like this, so I'm sort of doing a bit of that for Boba Fett.
Yeah.
Yeah, come here on the day of my daughter's wedding, and
Yeah.
well,
You come to us.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
So we're still having fun, Jim. We're still having fun. Anyway.
Oh,
so,
ain't it the truth?
We'll see what happens, and I just, again, very grateful. Geez, lovely talking. This
Well,
has been a
I'm
wonderful
very
experience.
grateful.
There I was
Chris and I are-
moaning at you, going, what the
Please,
hell?
no,
bloody
that's
podcast?
great.
Oh, fuck.
Well, I'm the grateful one. Chris and I are the grateful ones. Thanks for
Yeah,
taking
thank you very
time
much
from
for
your
doing
day.
this. Yeah.
And in this lovely setting.
Yes, here we are,
Yeah.
by the Thames River.
Yeah, right in the
that the
middle of
Thames
the rainforest is behind us. As
Oh,
you
the
can see.
rainforest, yes.
Very
Here we are
far
in England.
behind us, but
Here we are in England, yes.
But I'm getting word that they're looking for you downstairs.
Probably.
Got somewhere to be.
Probably.
So we should
Go
wrap
on,
it up.
go and let them love you. Godspeed. Thank you very, very much for being here, my friend.
Much love to you and the family.
Thank
you.
And to
Thank
you.
Yeah, thank you very much.
The end.
Well, once again, that was another episode of Tuned In with Jim Cummings. Thank you for joining us, Tem Morrison. Appreciate you being here. Don't forget to like and subscribe to us on YouTube, and you can find bonus content on Patreon. For all those Patreon subscribers, thank you so much. And you can listen to this podcast wherever you find your podcast. Once again, that was another episode of Tuned In with Jim Cummings. We'll see you in the next one.
And it's just that easy. Cannot thank you enough.
Oh, good. All good. Really enjoyed it.
Thank you enough.